Good evening, everyone. Sorry for the slight delay. I guess I went like over a year between things, so over a week. I guess not so bad. Um, as I said previously, I want to take a look at the NVMM in NetBSD. So the NetBSD Virtual Machine Monitor. Um, so we can do a little virtualization under NetBSD. I'm going to kind of run through the docs. I'm unfamiliar, but run through the docs here. Um, And the goal here in this segment is to get NetBSD VM up and running. Just kind of play around with it, familiarize myself with it. Obviously, it's using qemu, and so I've been familiar with qemu. It's pretty old. So the only pre-setup I've done was I added myself to the group here, so I get the access to the NVMM. So if, as my user here, we get, hey, we haven't loaded it, so let's start by loading the module. I should be able to do that. Okay, so I can read that. So I've given a once over of the docs here. Okay, so we'll just start here with the basic one. Let me do this. Oh, got to install qemu first too. So that should be pretty quick. Can walk through here. And take a look at everything that's going on. So part one here we'll do today, which is get a NetBSD virtual machine going here. Probably do 10.1 because of the ISO. I do have some of the other ISOs available. The other bit of setup here I did was, I've got the home server's, ISO data set mounted via NFS. So we don't need to move anything over. So part one is this. Part two, one of the reasons why I was really curious about NVMM is OpenVMS. So as you may or may not be aware, OpenVMS, formerly of only VAX, then Alpha, then Itanium, has now been available for x86 64. It really, from my testing, it only works with uh, VMware, VirtualBox, KVM qemu. I want to see if it works with NVMM qemu because NetBSD might be a great platform for it. Some of this is just me avoiding Linux for fun, and I also think some of these Linux, I don't know, let's say Linux is not as fun as it used to be way back when. It's changed and become something different. And while I use it professionally, here at home, try to avoid it when I can. Obviously, things like Jellyfin Media Server, you gotta stick on that. I'm not ideologically opposed, but it's changed over the years. And some like Slackware staying pretty close to original. So we got qemu in place. Let's see what's next. So I guess we can start with this basic command here and see how this works. The only thing I'm going to do is so this should give us 1 gig memory, 2 CPUs, local display. If I copy paste correctly. Okay, very nice. So got this up. Is it quite as fast as native? I don't think so. But yeah, I guess we can add a disk entropy. So I may create a little shell script to go and put all this together. So yeah, this is what I want to do. Create a tap interface first. So let me kill this guy here. Don't want So we'll go and create the tap interface. And the bridge. Oh, what am I? I'm on RE0. So I do have another, an I-219 card in there. So I do have WM0, WM1, but we're not going to use that for this. Okay, so I got my bridge. I'm in a VM directory. So let's create a qcow2 disk. Sure, copy paste that. And I'm actually going to go and edit. I'm going to go and actually just create a little script here just because that'll make my life easier. To put all these pieces together. Just put every argument on its own line. Organize it a little bit. See, I'm using the JED editor, one of my all-time favorites. Get SDL. We're going to give this guy a little bit more memory because we have 4 gigs here out of 32. Put some of this other stuff in front of CD-ROM here. Okay, so VirtIO block, great. So that's going to be VirtIO. We do want the virtual random number generator as well. Let's see, what else do we want here? Oh, the networking. Networking. Break this line here. Okay, I think that looks good for what we're doing. So we've got virtual randomization. We have VirtIO for the hard drive. We've got this. Do we want to make this graphical? I think we won't do this graphical. Yeah, no, let's do it. Let's do it graphical. I think that'll be nice. We'll see how fast X is on this. I like it. So we got a mouse. Back up to the display. What that should do us here. Okay, VGA, VMware for our VGA driver. I think everything's correct here. Am I extending the lines correctly? Okay, no permissions on tap 0. So my account here is a member of the wheel group. So set the group permissions there. And looks like we got boot up on the install. Let's see how this goes. So in fairness, if I just wanted to virtualize a NetBSD system, listen, I'd just be doing it under Beehive on the OmniOS. But for these purposes, to be able to have it here on the workstation, and also to hopefully let me do OpenVMS, would be great. English. $16 gig drive, GPT. Yeah, we'll do the full installation with X. I want to see how X Windows looks. I mean, so far it's chugging along pretty quickly. I am not seeing seeing this being noticeably slower. Again, if it's using the VirtIO for everything, yeah. Um, the real test will be, will it have gotten the networking stuff correct? So this is all pretty straightforward. So the other nice thing here is we can do the curses display. We could also do no graphic and just do a serial console. And I think if it works, that's what I'd like to do for the OpenVMS rather than having a graphical console. Just have the serial console open for telnetting in. But that is a nice feature there. So let's see, where did my window go? But yeah, this is chugging along nicely. I like this. Let's see. Enter. Oh, the other thing I wanted to look at is the nvmm control. We looked at identify already. We can say hey, what that is. But I think this is a nice, concise list here to be able to say, oh, list. We can say oh, what the process PID is, our CPUs, our RAM. Very cool. Definitely like that. So let's get our network set up. It's got the VirtIO correctly. Will it get DHCP reasonably? And yes, it did. Wonderful. So far, so good. Network. And we went through this the other day. I'm not going to explain too much about this. Yeah, we'll get package in going. Now the other thing that's coming up, NetBSD 11 is going to be released soon. So maybe I'll keep this VM around as an example of doing an upgrade in place, or an upgrade. So there's two ways to upgrade NetBSD. You can upgrade in place, or you can use the installer to do an upgrade. So Got package in, do SSH. Yeah, we want that. Add a user. Yeah, so we'll reboot. We should be done. Now I will need to go and edit that startup script and remove. Let me kill this guy. So just killed the foregrounded process, and it dropped off my nvmm list. So we're just going to get rid of this, and let's boot it up. I mean, again, it is nice and snappy. The other thing NetBSD has going for it, and I wish I would have sliced up the disk here when I installed for this workstation to give myself a little room to play with ZFS. While you can, I think, do ZFS root with the NetBSD, it's not out of the box with the installer, but I still may throw, just a SATA SSD in here to have a pool, because you pair this with this virtualization and ZFS may be pretty powerful. So will X work right away? And it does. Nice. So there we're installed. Let me actually get out of this. Um, let me see if we have a good idea of a benchmark to run here. See if there's a benchmark. I don't want to do something. I don't know. I have to think about a benchmark to run between these two, the virtualized and the host. If you think of any good benchmarks, um, let me know. And yeah, things like Bonnie for file system, will be able to exceed cache far more quickly. And the CPU benchmark should be really close to the same, but a real world benchmark might be nice. So maybe I could do a kind of a machine learning benchmark for some of these things, and not so much for this VM versus the host, but more do, say, a benchmark in R. So, hey, build a random forest out of this data set. And I'd like to see that, we could do, hey, one of the BSDs versus Linux versus Illumos. Might be interesting. There's so much focus on machine learning, and that tracks with the day job a little bit more. So that is getting a virtual machine up with the NVMM. So far, I really like it. You still have all the qemu stuff, so you can bring over the qemu experience, and it really is just difference between this and elsewhere is instead of KVM, this is NVMM. Um, do I like Beehive under Illumos? Is probably the peak, or Beehive under FreeBSD. I think is better. Yeah, but the fact that this lets you do qemu-like things and support some of the more expansive hardware sets. So one of the problems with Beehive is it is a little bit more narrow, and it works great for Linux and Windows and maybe some of these other things. Ooh, now we can do some more oddball stuff, which maybe like OpenVMS doesn't really fit too well under Beehive. Uh, but really simple, straightforward to get going. Sorry, I'm rambling a little bit. It's Saturday night, and I'm putting this together, but um, maybe as soon as later this evening or maybe tomorrow, um, we can take a look at OpenVMS, which is really the interesting thing um, to do with this. So that's kind of next up, but I'm nicely impressed here with what's going on. So just for lack of anything better, can I fire that same query here and see? Yeah, so this is, at least from a, hey, is it snappy to use? Yeah, so the acceleration is doing its thing. Let me shut this down. See how this behaves in a halt. Yeah, halts nicely. Cool. Well, thanks everyone for coming along on this ride. And like I said, maybe soon, maybe later today, maybe tomorrow for OpenVMS. Thank you all.